Hey YouTube, Fable Grimro back again. Today I'm giving you guys a Dual Terminal 6B. Finally got my hands on a complete set. Took me a little while, a little longer than I hoped for, but here it is. This is the English equivalent of Dual Terminal 12 in Japan. So this finally gives America the Dual Terminal XCs, which we'll get to later. It's also probably one of the best dual terminal sets reprint wise. There's a lot of really good stuff in here. So let me get to the goods here. First off, I'm gonna start out with Volcano Shell. This guy was released back in the GX area. Pretty popular card back then. It's essentially Advantage. Volcanic Monarchs were pretty big for a little while. This guy just if he's in a graveyard, you can add another one back to your hand by paying 500 life points. He's found new life in Gem Knight decks, which use him with your gems to spam Gem Knight Citrine, which is released in Dual Terminal 6 Part A, and this is your go-to Pyro fusion of choice. So Fire players, Gem players, there's your DT Volcanic Shells. Next up, I'm with the hero Neos. 4-star 1900 track Gemini. Heroes are really big right now, and this is like the main guy that the deck uses. Can be used with a Miracle, get Shining, or any other hero you want to. Super Poly, E, Stratos, Gemini Spark, Hero Blast. This guy's so versatile. He's what makes Hero Beat or like hero variants very good. And now that dual terminal right there. Next up, Quickdraw Synchron. Here was another popular card back in the Synchro area, kind of before Tengu Synchro took off. Quickdraw January was like the go-to deck for a little while, and this guy essentially allows access to any of the Synchron synchros. So you know, Junk Destroyer, Drill Warrior, all those guys, Junk Warrior, free special summon. This guy's pretty popular, still pretty good right now. So now it comes DT. Next up we got TG Rush Rhino. TGs were a really good deck. They kind of flew under the radar when they got released, but then people realized just how great they were. Not so much for their synchro wing, but because they the three main TG monsters, Rush Rhino, Striker, and Werewolf, all replace themselves, and they all can be special summoned or normal summoned. So they're essentially like field gadgets. They're he's a beast. He uses them with a Horn of the Phantom Beast. Horn of the Phantom Beast. Sorry. So again, another very good reprint. DT, very shiny. Next up, Buster Blaster, probably one of the worst reprints in the set. I won't even talk about him, but yeah, 1-star Machine Union does something. Whatever. Next up, Phantom Sky Blaster. This guy was an old card released back in the GX era. I think it came out as like a Turbo Pack promo of some sort, or a Championship Pack Ultra, I think. So he was pretty hard to get for a little while. Then he got reprinted in like the raw yellow Mega Pants. You can tell how I'm feeling. I'm sorry, guys. But now he's a dual terminal. He's pretty cool with synchroing, as when you summon him, you can summon a number of tokens equal to the number of monsters you control. The damage effect that he has doesn't really matter as much, or not as much. The fact that he just summons tokens, and you can use them in a lot of synchro-oriented decks just to get out 2 or 3 quick synchro monsters. Next up, we got Grandmaster of the Six Samurai. I remember when this guy first got released. He was the Strike and Neos sneak peek promo, and this guy single-handedly made Six Samurais into, you know, a meh archetype, into a powerhouse in the YuGiOh card game for 2 different eras essentially. As Six Samurais were like one of the best decks during the GX era for a little while. Sorry guys. And then they received more support during the 5Ds era with the legendary Six Samurai. So this guy is definitely a mainstay in Samurai decks. He pretty much paved the way for a lot of like easily special summonable monsters, and he's still extremely good. And like he's a must-have in Six Samurai decks. And now he's a nice DT foil. Very cool. Next up, we have another extremely good GX set promo in Dark Grepher. This guy came out in Phantom Darkness. Same set as like Dark Arm Dragon, Dark Lizarado, all the sort of like dark archetype that they did. We had all the dark monsters, and then Dark Grepher was the TCG promo that they had at the sneak. You can special summon by discarding a level 5 monster from your hand, and then you can send 1 monster from your hands to the graveyard, and then send 1 dark monster from your deck to the graveyard. So this guy has been a very important card in dark decks ever since he got released. Him along with Armageddon Knight, as they quickly will fuel your graveyard for darks that you can use for Dark Arm Dragon, dump a Destiny Hero Malicious, dump Plague Spreader, dump Necro Garna. This guy had a lot of uses, still has a lot of uses. Very good card for dark-based decks, and now he can be yours in Dual Terminal. Next up, we got Green Kappa. He's another interesting reprint. This was an older card, kind of hard to find for a little while. Decent tech. He's a flip effect monster. You can target 2 set spell or trap cards on the field and destroy them. This guy got teched a little bit, or sided a little bit, back when MST was at 1. I think Heavy Storm might have been banned at that point, so it might be just like MST and True Nade, so people were trying to find ways to destroy back row, and this guy was a rather interesting tech option for a little while, or a side option. So another interesting reprint. Not as good as some of the other ones, but still pretty cool. Next up, a personal hatred of mine in Penguin Soldier. This guy, old card, got released back, I think in like the Joey starter deck. Very good card. He was okay back then, but he's only gotten better with the increased importance of the extra deck. So, flip, return 2 cards, 2 monsters on the field back to your hand. A friend of mine used to run a water deck, and he always ran Penguin Soldier because it made me so mad when I would go, oh, I have a YuGiOh and a Stardust, and then I have his YuGiOh attack his face down monster, and he's like, haha, Penguin Soldier, balance your 2 monsters, and I'd lose from there because of Penguin Soldier. So, another cool DT reprint, even though I hate him. He's shiny. Next up, we got Gravekeeper Spy. This was another under the radar card for a little while, back when it first got released. As Gravekeepers were essentially like the first anti-meta deck. As back in the early days of Yu-Gi-Oh, it was beat down, and then Chaos got released. And then once Chaos got released, people started looking at Gravekeepers as sort of like an anti-Chaos deck. And then once Gravekeepers finally got on like the competitive radar, and like Chaos had kind of gone by the wayside, and Monarchs were starting to come in, people started using Gravekeeper Spy just on his own as a 2,000 defense, flip him, your opponent attacks it with something, he's going to survive, you get another Gravekeeper Spy, and then you can sack him for your Mobius, your Zaborgs, your Caius, your Ryza, or your Light and Darkness Dragon when that got released. Still a very solid car, rank 4. And could also be set 1, go into easy rank 4, exceed. And now that Gravekeeper's got a lot of newer support, this guy's only gotten better. Next up, we got another older mainstay in legendary Jujitsu Master. This guy was under the radar for a little while, but again, once cards like Monarchs, Tribute Summons, and then Exceeds and Synchro started coming to competitive play, this guy was a really good option as he would put him face down, or put him in defense mode, and then anything that would attack him had to be sent back to the top of your opponent's deck. So this guy made a lot of flyers. He was very good back in the day. He's just a beast. He sits there, and your opponent has to either waste their best monster, and then you get to waste the draw next turn, or he's gonna sit there and just wall your opponent. This guy was really good. Not seen play as much now, but still another very good card. Next up, we got Hilt of the Fire Charmer. I think in the previous DT sets, 5A, 5B, 6A, and now 6B, they reprinted all the old Charmers as dual terminal, and then Hilta, I think, is like the last of the original ones to be reprinted, the Fire one. So what was it? Alza, Area, and Win, I think, were the other three. Area and Win, I think, both got Gusto and Gishki reincarnations. Alza and Hilta haven't been reprinted or retrained in any light, but yeah, for you Charmer collectors out there, I think they're pretty popular collectible cards. Speaking of popular collectible cards, DT Dark Magician Girl, here it is. This thing is so smexy. Look at this. This was a very popular card in the show. Very hard to find card when it was a secret rare in like Magician's Force way back in the day. One of those popular cards in Yu-Gi-Oh for quite some time. A lot of collectors go after these things still. So it's still worth a lot, and now it's a DT Super. Looking pretty good too. Next up, we got Abyss Soldier. This was a really good card for a little while. I spent a little time on the restricted list for a little while. He's essentially just like a constant discard bounce outlet, just like return your opponent's monsters back to the hand. Was probably one of the best cards for water decks back in the early days. Not seen so much right now. But hey, another pretty cool reprint. Next up, we got Golden Homunculus. This guy came out around the same times as Macrocosmos and the Helios monsters, Primeval Sun, Duos, Magistus, Trace Magistus, those guys. I think he was like a game promo or something back in the day with them. Gains attack equal to number of your remove from play cards. 6 stars, not that great, but hey, he'd be Shining Angeled out and become big. So not a terrible card, but yeah. Again, there's better reprints in this set. Alright, next up we're going to get into some of the newer cards here. Starting off with Knight Obsidian. This guy is, obscenely good. Whenever he's sent from your hand to the graveyard, you can target one normal monster in your graveyard and special summon the target. So essentially you discard or fuse this guy when you're making your Knight fusion. So you use him in Tourmaline or Garnet or whatever, and then you can special summon that guy back and then use it again for another fusion or Exceed Summon, something like that. This guy is probably one of the best cards for Knights. They're still waiting for a few more stuff to become like fully competitive, but this is one of the key cards for Knights, so probably one of the big money cards in the set right here. So watch out for this guy. This guy's gonna be in demand. Next up, we got Knight Iolite. He's the first of the Gemini Knights. 2000 defense Aqua. For some reason, they always want to screw the Aqua Knights. I won't go too much into his effect. Like he's pretty good, but not really seen in Knight decks very much. 2000 defense. Really just don't really bother with the Aqua Knights very much. If you don't have to, the Pyro and the Thunder Fusions are better. Don't really have to worry about this guy very much. Knight Amber, however, this thing is pretty cool. 4-star, 1600 attack, another Gemini monster. So he counts as normal while he's on the field and graveyard and stuff. And then his Gemini effect is when he's summoned, you can discard a card and then target one of your remove and play monsters and add it back to your hand. Very good with Rescue Rabbit. So Rabbit build, probably run 1 or 2 of this guy, maybe as tech, you don't really have to, but again, another really cool Gem Knight card. Gem Knights still have a little ways to go because they need some stuff in the next 2 dual terminal sets, or the Hidden Arsenal 7, whenever that comes out, probably next year or at some point. So Gem Knights, they're starting to slowly creep up there. All right, well, I still got a little ways to go, I guess. We're almost halfway through here. Bear with me. So check out for part 2 coming up in a second.